A, B, C, yo, Beatbox Academy, come on now.
Hello, welcome to the music show on Radio National. I'm Andrew Ford. On today's programme, beatboxing. As you can hear, we've got 6 beatboxers in our studio in Adelaide, and they're going to demonstrate how they make the sounds that they do. But first, as I said, beatboxing. We've got a team of beatboxers from South London, from the BAC Arts Centre and its Beatbox Academy. And they're in Adelaide as part of the Fringe for the next month. They're performing, it's called Gig Theatre. Frankenstein, How to Make a Monster is the title of the show. One of these beatboxers, ABH, is the world #1. And they're going to give us something of a masterclass in the art of beatboxing. But we'll hear, first of all, something from the Frankenstein show. It's called Click, Click, Clack.
Click, click, clack, snap, snap. Chat, these screens are weapons, but you really shouldn't post that. We use devices as shields as we wield them over others' lives. Validated by shares and likes. Click, click, clack, snap, snap. Chat, these screens are weapons, but you really shouldn't post that. We use devices as shields as we wield them over others' lives. Validated by shares and likes. Click, click. Seeming connected is more important than being connected. Sign in, sign on, so I don't feel neglected. Ain't got a BPC on my PC. You can't touch me. I'm protected by anonymity.
We are Generation Anonymous.
Click, click.
Generation Anonymous.
Click, click.
Generation Anonymous.
Click, click.
Clack, click, click.
Click, click, clack, snap, snap. Chat, these screens are weapons, but you really shouldn't post that. We use devices as shields as we wield them over others' lives. Validated by shares and likes. Everybody's trying to trace their roots. Just look at the youth. You can see the sad, sad truth. They're stuck inside personal prisons, living their life with screens no bigger than 5.5. Trading sunshine for online anytime. A whole generation unwilling to go outside. A whole generation unwilling to go outside. Click, click, clack, snap, snap. Chat, these screens are weapons, but you really shouldn't post that. We use devices as shields as we wield them over others' lives. Validated by shares and likes. Click, click, clack, snap, snap. Chat, these screens are weapons, but you really shouldn't post that. We use devices as shields as we wield them over others' lives. Validated by shares and likes.
That was a little sample of the show Frankenstein, How to Make a Monster, performed for us on today's music show by the BAC Arts Centre Beatbox Academy, consisting on this occasion of Conrad Murray, Nate Ford Staple, Nadine Johnson, Aminita Francis, Tyler Worthington, ABH and Beth Griffin. Thank you very much indeed for that. Maybe, Conrad, I could ask you, before we talk about the show itself, which of course I want to come to talk about what we've just heard and the different roles that are played from a sonic point of view in what you've just done. What are the elements of that performance?
So we've got the different beats, so people doing different beat sounds, people do the different kind of vocal sounds to make it sound like kind of pads and strings, percussion and bass. And then we kind of got that, like, you know, the harmonies, and we've got the lead rap, basically. Aminita killing it on the lead vocals and spitting those bars.
And it's quite complex, isn't it? I mean, it's quite multi-layered.
Yeah, mad layers. We kind of jam it out and put it all together, but like we're kind of used to it, so we kind of glue all the sounds together to give it that full sound.
And because we can't see it, because it's radio, maybe you could describe what it looks like, because I imagine you're not just all standing in a row in front of your microphones and not moving.
No, we got kind of movements, people are vibing. We kind of got some movement kind of routines within the show, plus some sick lighting. So merging together, we kind of got choreography that makes it work, basically.
And it wouldn't work without the choreography?
Well, it would. It'd be sick music, you know what I mean? People would be going nuts, but we had more theatricality to it, doing all the movements and that, just to kind of blow people away.
But some of the movements actually have sounds attached to them, don't they, as well? I mean, things that you do with your hands, for example.
Yeah, we accentuate the sounds by doing hand gestures and movements to kind of bring that visual, so you can visualize the sounds. Because sometimes it can be hard for audience to know, is this real? Is this on tape? But we do the gesture, so it's like, whoa, they're making that sound, they're creating the sound, and we kind of give it to them that way.
Can you give us, or maybe one of your colleagues, can you give us the history of beatboxing? When did it start?
I think it's kind of in the 70s, 80s in America, New York. And it was kind of like, back in the day, they had those big things, the stereos that took the batteries that are really expensive. And there was a story of people were dancing, people were vibing, people were spitting bars, the tunes were playing. Then the batteries ran out and they were mad expensive. And there was some mystical character in the corner just whoosh. And all of a sudden they were like, and then people go back to the dancing, people go back to the rapping. It was a mad thing. And then after that, beatboxing was born, innit?
And it was a lot cheaper too.
A lot cheaper, man. A lot cheaper.
Is that important? Do you think is that actually an important aspect of beatboxing, that it's something that anybody can do?
Totally. Like anyone can rock up and just give it a go. And everyone's got their own beatbox sounds, their own palette of sounds. And as you can hear in the group, everyone's kind of got their own sounds. And Native in the group, he's got his own sound that he does it and he kills it. And around the world, people know him for this sound. And he's going to give it to you now. Give him the scratch, Nate.
All right, that's totally convincing. Now, Nate, how did you do it?
So what you do to do the scratching sound is you got to put your mouth in like the crevice between your thumb and your index finger, and you suck in and you breathe in. So it's like a. Once you get that sound, you want to start controlling it with your tongue, and you get your.
I'm doing. It's not working for me.
I mean, it takes a bit of practice. It took me 6 months to get it. I see some kids get it really quickly. But
right.
Yeah, it took me 6 months, man. It's kind of hard. It's called the crab scratch.
The crab scratch.
Yeah, you got to make your hand look like a bit like a crab.
Okay. Right. What about the other influences on beatboxing? I mean, the stylistic influences. I mean, it's a hip-hop thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it comes from hip-hop, but then we put all different other sounds. So like grime's a big thing in the UK now, so we add in some of those grime and some of that drill sounds, but we also do, well, and Nadine can tell you about it, we kind of got this classical kind of influence.
Yeah, so beatboxing is like traditionally like hip hop, but we as the Beatbox Academy, we include all different genres. We've covered classical songs down to pop, to grime, house. Pretty much we try and incorporate it into every single genre.
So you can add beatboxing to anything, is what you're saying?
Well, I mean, basically beatboxing is recreating sounds with your mouth. And so if there's a sound, you could probably recreate it with your mouth. And that's what we try to do.
Fair enough.
So, if there's music, we can recreate it.
Tell me about the Academy. The Battersea Arts Centre has been around for an awfully long time as a sort of important arts centre in the UK, performance space. But when did the Beatbox Academy begin?
11 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
2009.
Why?
Well, basically, in the BAC, I live quite locally on an estate nearby, and I go to the BAC, but there wasn't kind of like a place where people go to rap and spit bars and do things like that. And I was trying to create kind of a theatre style that mixed up rapping with theatre. And then BAC said to me, "Hey, do you want to start something called a Beatbox Academy?" And I was like, "Beatbox Academy, what's that?" And actually, I worked out that we had to work out what that is. So we kind of making it up as we went along to create this whole kind of new form. But it's also a place to go to make friends, to vibe, and to go to the chip shop and cuss each other out. But that's Nadine actually started coming around 10 years ago and came along. She can tell you what it was like as a place to come. But it was a place just to make friends, make fun. And if you made music along the way, then great. If we made a great world-class show along the way, amazing. But if you made friends and made memories, that was kind of also one of the main things.
So is that why you went, Nadine?
Yeah, definitely. So like growing up in a working class area, access to like music tuition, like learning instruments, theory, all that kind of stuff was way too expensive and just not available for the working class kids in my area anyway. So going to the Beatbox Academy, which I used to go with my siblings, was really great because we'd learn about music without the expensive prices or even the instruments, because we were recreating those sounds with our mouths. We learned about timing, we learned about how to set up your live sound, EQing, everything just from what we already had, which was our voice. And it was also something free to do to keep you off the street. So you ended up mixing with a whole different group of people, but all from different backgrounds, all from different places, and it was great because as soon as you stepped into that room, it was about the music and nothing else.
Yes. How do you teach beatboxing, Conrad?
We got phonetic sounds that we use, which is boom, ti, kla, and then we take the vowels off the ood, e, and ah, and we break it down. And every session we always go through those basics. And it's like a guitarist goes through scales. Even if you've been doing it for years, and ABH is in the academy, he's the world number one, and and a famous beatboxer in the whole round world. We still go through the basics because it's a good way to always keep training and doing those sounds to keep your time in and do those sounds. So you can do it in the morning with your cornflakes. Boom, ti, kla, has some cornflakes, and then turn it into. And then you can do some beatboxing to your wife or to your friends or your family. But yeah, you can teach it. But good thing about it is, say, everyone's got different mouths. So each person always brings a different kind of sound and a different vibe to it. And you can set people away, but they'll come back to you. And what took you 10 years, it took me 10 years to master the sounds that I've got. I meet Nate, I meet Tyler, they're better than me already, and that's what it's supposed to be, because it's supposed to be about taking that knowledge, passing it on. They're all standing on the shoulders of giants, and that's what it's all about.
And presumably the internet's changed things as well for beatboxing.
Totally. If you check out ABH's channel, he's got all these videos where he's doing some sounds and setting it ablaze. He's killing it online, and people have got their own little videos. But because people can show the sounds that they've got, original sounds, and you can hear stuff that you would never heard before. Before you had to go into different communities and you'd hear a sound like, oh my God, I never heard this before. But now you can go online, you can Google it. But it's nothing like the 3D kind of space of being there and seeing how people place their mouth and place their tongue. Because you can do it on the camera, but it's flat. But when you see it in front of you, you're like, snap, that's how you did that sound, that's how you're doing it. And you can kind of try and copy it. And again, once you copy it, it's a facsimile. It ain't the same, it's the way that you do it. It's a new thing. But yeah, the internet has changed it. It's a worldwide thing, it's a massive thing. And you know, we're in Australia now, we're around the world spreading Beatbox Academy, but also just spreading that hip-hop sound, that hip-hop theatre sound. And hopefully we're going to meet some other people and jam with them and get some Australian beatboxers doing their thing.
I wonder whether you could demonstrate for us how you build up a texture of sounds, you know, because what we heard before, as I said, was really quite complex. And I wondered whether, is it possible for you to sort of put it together strand by strand and show us how you're building this sound?
Yeah, we'll layer something up. I'll put something, and then I'll start a little thing, and then Nate can go, and then the Dean can go. A, B, C, it's easy like 1, 2, 3, kicking it with A, B, C, yo, Beatbox Academy, come on now. Hopefully that was a good enough little demonstration.
That was fantastic, and a little tribute to the Jackson 5 in there as well.
Oh yeah, a little bit.
That was the Battersea Arts Centre Beatbox Academy, and we're talking to them on today's music show here on RN. We should talk about the show, shouldn't we? Frankenstein. How to make a monster. Maybe first of all, the kind of show it is. It's relaxed. The people can come and go. Why?
So, I mean, that makes it all-inclusive. We have people from all different abilities coming to watch our show, and we want to make it seem like you're free to go and come back. It won't distract our performance. We're completely committed. It won't be a distraction. In fact, we encourage it. It also allows people to feel comfortable. They can go and get a glass of water and come back into the vibe and join us again, rather than that strict, regimented, oh no, this is a theatre show, you must be on time and you must leave at this point. And it's great to just break down that barrier.
So it obviously is a certain type of theatre then, isn't it? Because, I mean, there is a kind of intensity that comes with, you know, all of the house lights out and everybody looking at the stage. And there's a different kind of intensity that you can build when you're, in a sense, involving the audience.
Yeah.
They're there with us. So we can see them. They can see us. We allow latecomers. You can film the show. We're sharing that experience together. Do you know what I mean?
We break down that fourth wall. And we describe it as gig theatre.
Why Frankenstein?
Well, Frankenstein, when we first started thinking about the idea, it was 200 years old. And we thought it's a kind of a sick show to do because it was the anniversary, but also it was written by an 18-year-old Mary Shelley, and we thought, man, 200 years ago, 18-year-old girl, girls weren't allowed to vote and all sorts of things at that time, and we're thinking like, you know what, we got quite a diverse group, and their pen game is top. And they're great at rapping, singing. Aminita's a sick writer and a rapper. But all of us are great composers, and we're young. And we're coming from a spot where people don't necessarily see what we're doing as a theatrical art form, or as a on the same level as these other things. And we thought, what a great text to use to springboard off of that, as well as the show itself. The book itself is about monsters and how they create a monster. And what was this monster? Who created it? And did we create it? Did it create us? And what does it do when we monster other people? And how it impacts it. Also, technology was about it, because the book was about science and how they challenged God. And now we're challenged every day by the technology and how we connect with each other. And Nate was really inspired by that, and he would be talking about it all the time.
Oh yeah, for real. I mean, technology is in today's society where we use technology as a weapon most of the time nowadays. So a lot of the time we explore concepts like social media and the fact that it used to be a form of communication. And now it's turned into a thing where people use it to attack people. Like you got Donald Trump on Twitter attacking other countries or all them things there. So it's like we like to explore them themes in the show.
And improvisation, is that an element in this, or is the show really quite fixed?
We love to improvise. That's what we do. That's how we made this show, is through improvisations and composing that way. The show has a fixed element because of the lights and the marks that we're hitting. But within that frame, if people want to add in other runs, add in other stuff, they can. And then every show at the end, we do something we call a circle jam. And it's where we stand in a circle. It's a semicircle. We cheat a little bit because the audience is there. But we improvise a brand new piece of music on stage. We include the audience and add them into that relationship. And it's interesting because we was at an apology breakfast today, and they were talking about the culture and the importance of circles and sharing in circles and shapes. And I kind of thought, wow, we're in Australia doing circle jams. So it seemed like a little connection there.
And the audience, as they I guess they close the circle, don't they? If you're only a semicircle yourselves, do they contribute to the performance?
Yeah, we get them adding in beats that we teach them at the start. Little spoiler alert there, but the audience learn how to beatbox as well. So when you come down, you're going to be beatboxing in the audience and getting involved. And don't be scared, because anyone can get involved.
Fantastic. Thank you very much indeed for being on the music show. It's been good to talk to you. You're going to do another performance for us, and this is something else from the show. Tell us about it, would you?
Yeah. This song is called Alive. It's about being alive, but we also, first off, we started from the phrase of "It's alive" from them old films, and we kind of flipped it.
Yeah, it's basically talking about Frankenstein's monster when he comes to the realization of he's now a living being in this world, but also he's being pushed aside because of what he is, even though he's, different parts of the human body. So in essence, he's human. He's being pushed apart because he's different. So it just explores the whole of what it means to be alive.
Nadine, Nate, Conrad, thank you very much for talking to me, and thanks to all of you for coming in. And this is Alive, and it's from the show Frankenstein, How to Make a Monster.
Doot, 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 doot.
Seeing is believing, breathing, it's alive, reaching out. Who's there now? It's in the clouds. It's alive, reaching out. Oh, who's there now? Oh.
That's Alive, and it was performed live in the studio by members of the Battersea Arts Centre's Beatbox Academy. Frankenstein, How to Make a Monster, is on now at the Adelaide Fringe. It's at Adelaide University, and it runs until the 15th of March.
I'll do it.
What? Okay.